Great. Today we have one more interesting person to discuss about Sales Success Secrets book actually. Yes, I have Mr. Bala, CEO of Matrix Business Service India, India's largest integrated business assurance company. Also, interestingly, he authored five books actually, and two talks about our superstar Rajinikanth. And the fifth book he recently launched, named JUJUBE. I mean, you go to social media, almost like every day I could see that a lot of people talk about that. One of the successful book, I will say actually. Welcome, sir, to the studio of Sales Success Secrets.
Thank you. Very nice to be here, and my hearty congratulations to you for writing a book on a very important topic and something that will be very useful to many people in our country.
Thanks a lot, sir, actually. That's encouraging words. Today we are going to discuss one of the interesting topic called word power. Nothing but power of words actually. It starts with, let your words leave a positive mark. In this book, I've given three words and what kind of an impact those three words can create in one's life. I'll give you a metaphor for you to understand the power of words. Say, I request you to close your eyes. Don't think of a monkey. Don't think of a monkey eating a banana. Now open your eyes. What kind of thoughts comes to your mind? I'm sure most of you say you will think about a monkey, right? So that is a kind of an impact a word can create actually. So, I will request Mr. PC Bala to share his experience and the kind of impact a word can create in sales. Sir,
Yeah.
stage is yours.
And it's a very favorite subject to me because I head the business development for the organization also. In fact, even today I keep selling my services, our company services. So primarily I'm a salesman. Primarily I'm a business development guy. So I'm very happy that you chose me to, talk about a portion or maybe something relating to your book, which is focusing on creating successful salespeople or giving secrets of effective selling and so on. That's what I assume. I definitely lay my hand on your book the moment it is out. So very happy that you did it. It's like this, Lakshmi. When it comes to sales, there are products and there are services. There are essentially these are the two things. Either it is a product or a service. I've been selling services for many years. Okay, and there is a distinctive difference between sale of a product and sale of a service. And even let us take product for a while, although I don't sell product. Products also will have two types of customers. A well-informed customer. Generally, there will be a well-informed customer, especially in the B2B space. He is well-informed. Then only you go and pitch for the business. Either on his own or through some source you go. But the customer is generally well-informed. And there'll be very few people who are not well informed. It is a blank, cold call, or through some reference you go and meet, or somebody sees some digital marketing, that you're done. So they call you just to understand the product. That also happens.
Yeah.
A well-informed customer, it is reasonably easy to sell because the customer wants to really buy this product. Okay, and you have to only focus on re-emphasizing the faith in the customer that this is the right product for him. Okay, so you will not do hard selling. If you do hard selling, then it can perhaps derail because the customer doesn't need it. So here it is a question of explaining maybe certain amazing functions which the customer is not aware of the product. Number one, and mostly you could focus on the after sales service and so on. The product customer is already bought. He has done his homework, pricing, and then obviously any customer will look at pricing and so on. So a well-informed customer, you need not push it too hard. Then that amounts to desperation. Much of desperation. So the right words you should use. When you're desperate, automatically what will happen is anything for you. You are the most important customer. Anything for you. Any price, no problem. Then you lose faith. You have to be very careful about selling, because you will. And then all the sales guy, I'm also a sales guy, but the sales guys will always have that ego that they are the money spinners for the company. They are the guys who actually, which is true, you sell, but that's only one aspect of the entire business. There's somebody who's producing, there is somebody who's servicing, somebody who's you sell, and there are a lot of other commercial, marketing, logistics, so many things are involved in post sales. So the sales guy always has that ego, and because of that ego, he gives any kind of promise to the customer. So when it comes to words, be careful about the kind of promises you give to the customer.
Very true.
And my humble submission, even I've seen some suppliers, is don't blabber. If you, it's not that as the sales guy you know everything about it. Even when I go and talk about our own services, if I don't know certain specifics, I touch base with my operations team or my IT team to clarify the points with the customer. The customer appreciates. Nobody expects you to know everything. Even if you are the CEO, they don't expect. Those days are gone. So product sale, you have to be, and if it is not an informed customer, then of course you need to do a lot of hard selling. And an uninformed customer, you have to first sell the brand, primarily, not for leave alone the functions of the product. Create the faith in the brand. If it is not a well-known brand already, and then you talk so much. I mean, you talk the required things about the product. This is on the product. Services are completely different. It's a concept selling. See, services, because the customer cannot see till such time it is delivered. Okay, the product somebody can see. Services cannot be seen unless you may still do a demonstration of what you have done to others. That is different. This is a different pitch. It is like cricket pitch. It doesn't behave everywhere uniformly.
True.
Epoch is different from Melbourne. So the services selling needs plenty of tact, plenty of tolerance, and you should never be desperate. And you have to entice, you have to create that enthusiasm in the customer that this is what he wants. So use the right words. See, when I say, there is a lovely caption, I'm sure you must have learned. Marketing is all about lying, and then what you call living the lie. Okay, you may tell lies, but then try to live the lie. Sometimes you may say this functions for non-stop, for example, some product 18 hours. Ensure that back end this happens. Suppose you say that my team works 24/7. Ensure that your team, if it is not so today, please make sure that it happens from tomorrow at least, because there is a customer requirement in that fashion. So you will create 2 shifts, 3 shifts, and so on. So you have to be careful about services selling, because the customer has not seen it so far from you. And then use the right word. Don't panic. Don't, as you rightly mentioned, don't give any negative. Don't give the impression that if the customer is asking something which is elementary, don't say this is very basic. Don't avoid that word. This is extremely basic. The customer will not like it. Will never like it. And don't compare your competitors also while you talk. Don't specify any specific names. You don't have to do that. Let the customer do the research. It is like you need not kill somebody to sell your product. Although subtly you can put across that you are comparably better. Your pricing is better, service is better. That is fine, but never mention any specific name. That amounts to very hard selling. And customer's reaction should be watched. The customer may not communicate everything while you are trying to sell something. Body language, his pulse, that comes with the experience. And even if there is an unsatisfied customer, an irritant customer, you please ensure that you are cool with your words. Even if it is a complete waste of time, you have traveled about 1,500 kilometers, spent a lot of money to go and meet somebody, and the meeting, in 5 minutes, that it is not a right sales call. Doesn't matter at all. Be pleasing. You have to be extremely pleasing, polite, and still give the faith that you enjoyed this meeting with this. It was one delight to meet that customer. Even if the customer is not very happy, do that. Because it is not just a product or service, it is your brand that you're selling.
Correct. Because here I would also quote one of the things which has been mentioned in one of the, on the stage by our ex-president, actually, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He quoted in one of the meeting, he used the word, he did one demo to the students. He called one of the students, said, try to pick up this pen. He picked up. He said, I asked you to try. And he said there is nothing called try, either doing it or not doing it. And because I have also mentioned it in the book, it says like, if you're, like, subordinate or your customer says, I will try, take it for granted that 90% it will not happen.
It will not happen.
Because even to yourself, you say you try to do it, that means you are giving a choice.
Correct.
It's not a
Correct.
must. It's not a must actually. So, like, the kind of words what we use, it has an internal impact for ourselves first than it is to others actually. So that is one of the things which I also talked about in the book. So would you would like to add any value on these on this angle?
Absolutely. But my point here is even to the team. Okay. Try to do. Maybe I will also now remember when I talk to my team from tomorrow. It's a very good point. But sometimes we know sometimes we have some unrealistic targets, right?
Yeah.
Very unrealistic targets. Customer, especially during this challenging times, everything is going through. Customer will also expect you to do wonders, and that point of time, that you are all, the team is also challenged, and instead of saying that it is certainly possible to do it, by default it always comes to, in a way, to encourage them, try to do it, which means what? Even if you attempt and fail, it doesn't matter, I will manage, but please keep trying, please keep trying. So I think it is good and bad. Where you use the word try is extremely important. If you use try for your routine, what you call run of the mill processes, action points, then it is bad, because there is nothing called trying. But for the first time you're doing something, there's always a trying. So that it depends on the other team members also. If somebody cannot take failure, right? You make an attempt, you fail, they cannot take failure. So to such people, in order to ensure that they don't feel very sensitive about a failure, you can always say, pat them and say, try, and then if you can't, maybe I will help you, or we can seek some additional time, or whatever. Think about the situation.
One of the replacement for the word, probably you can just check it out actually. Do your best.
Do your best.
Okay. So you give your best, don't bother about the result.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
this is in Bhagavad Gita itself, no? So
yeah.
do a job, your results will come. Definitely results. And results may not come every time. That's why I also mentioned, I gave an example of where you travel a very long distance. Great hope. And then the customer would have given you the hope that is very keen to use your services or your product. But maybe it was a wrong decision from the customer. And you go with a lot of anticipation, doesn't matter. So when you fail during that time, never stop doing what you're supposed to do. That is very important.
It's a learning.
It's a learning experience. Selling, you come out of the best business school, doesn't mean that you start selling effectively from tomorrow.
Correct.
It happens through a lot of experiences.
Correct.
Every customer is different, and the same customer, every point of time also is different. Because please understand, when you are not meeting the customer, somebody else is meeting the customer. Your company is also meeting the customer.
True.
So his perception, his thinking process also can change. Or can be changed. So you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware.
And also the word is actually, it kindle your emotions actually, or other way around is also it is looped, kind of say, the kind of an emotion running on your mind. That time the kind of words what we use also different. If you're in anger, emotion, in the emotion of anger, the words what we use, and if you're in a state of compose, the words what we use is different actually. So if you are conscious on to start with saying what kind of words what we use, which will have an impact on you and others. There is one light joke I would like to say, because one of the conversation I was having it in one of a mother, I said, when you're conversing with your child, be conscious on kind of words what she used. She told me that if that is the case, then I cannot even talk. I said that's the best thing to do actually.
Good one, very good one.
But
do you think, now that you I'm sure you would have done some research on this, which segment impacted you? You would have dealt with a lot of salespeople, perhaps. Otherwise you wouldn't have touched upon the subject.
Correct.
Was it more on product? Was it more on services? and at what level, is basic sales representative sales people, or regional sales people, head of sales? Did you talk to several other people before putting this down in the form of a
Okay,
book?
very good. This one actually. See, is generally it is have an impact on whether it is does not matter whether it is. I mean, like the guy is about only fresher or a 5 years or a 50 years actually. Okay,
Mm.
because always you ask the question. I mean, even the customer asks the question from the words what we say.
Correct.
Okay, because the next question comes from, because the best example always we say about Karunanidhi.
Mm.
Karunanidhi gives a clue for the reporter to what is the next question they can ask. So when he deliver an answer, he gives a clue for a next question.
Mm.
Okay, so that is a kind of an impact the words can create. But the
Mm.
challenges are the people, especially, I mean, on the lower segment, may not understand the power of words.
Mm.
But if they started using it, they can grow well.
Mm.
So, I mean, if you talk about one of the, I mean, research happened. Some of the leaders, they went and researched some of the leaders' speech. If you go and see after the Twin Tower collapse, okay, so the speech says, "We are united." That's called reframing. The
Mm.
event has happened. You can't do something about it. So he reframed and make you to see something else.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that is what is the words can create an impact.
Okay.
So it is not necessary. I mean, like I will. Many a time I say, the parents, the kind of words what they use for, to their children, has an impact on their life.
Mm.
Same thing. I mean, like this was one of the example. I was just. One of the counseling which I was doing it for a mother. I mean, like the discussion. I asked her to narrate one of the experience. They went out for a, dinner. Okay, and the guy says to, to the spouse, saying, if you're not able to eat yourself, leave it. Don't force yourself. I mean, she replies, you mean to say I'm eating more? So, in the kind of a mindset what you are, the way how I receive the word is different.
Mm.
Your intent may be different, but the way how I receive, how I process may be different.
Correct.
See, many a time I say, what you put it on an email, you may want it to convey something, because we are not a native speaker of English.
Correct.
We are, by and far, we use an English for our, communication, but still, I will say, like, because the kind of an impact every word, what we say, it is a different. So what we wanted to convey sometime may be different, but what we convey is different actually.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Now, this is primarily for salespeople. That's why you call it, success sales, right? Sales
Yeah,
success.
sales success secrets.
Why only sales? Why didn't you attempt this for an organization as such?
Yeah,
Generally,
see, generally what I say is, this is, and the book is not for a person for a sales,
okay,
as a carrier. Okay.
as the career.
Yeah, see, this may be useful for anybody who run a business. This may be useful for anybody who has a handle client. This may be useful for anybody who handle a team, or the way how they wanted to communicate to their boss.
Mm.
It may be even useful to how you wanted to speak to your spouse, because what I always feel is, everyone are selling in their life on every moment.
Mm.
See, if I have to communicate my idea to my wife, what I'm doing it, I'm selling my ideas.
Mm.
If I have to communicate my idea to my child, what I'm doing is, I'm selling myself first.
Correct.
The first thing is, the child has to ask, need that acceptance about me.
Mm.
Then only they buy my idea. Even
Correct.
when it comes to the customer, same. The customer has to buy your company and you. Then only about go to the product.
Correct.
Then only they go to the services.
Correct.
Services is, without buying the company and without buying the
Yeah.
people, will not even able to sell the services. Product, at least you will be able to.
Correct.
but services cannot be actually. So what you do there, the first thing is you are selling yourself, you're selling your company, then only the product actually.